Hi everyone, Peter McPhail with Lifestyle Properties of Maine, and today we are very fortunate to have Melissa Smart with Affordable Home with us today. And this is the busiest time of year. Last couple of years in real estate, we have been just going straight ahead. So very thankful that you took the time to stop in today. I know how busy you guys are because I'm usually on the phone. Hey Melissa, what's your schedule like for a home inspection?
Thank you for having us.
Sure. Folks, today we're going to do something a little bit different. You're used to looking through our properties, but today we're going to share some information that if you own a house in Maine, this will save you some money. If you're thinking about owning a house in Maine, then this is good information as well. Should save you some money as well. With the cost of any energy prices going up, that's why we're kind of focusing on this program here today. So thanks for joining. We want to discuss first Affordable Home Inspection Company.
Yes.
You guys have been around since 2007.
Yes, 15 years. We're a husband and wife team. So my husband is a nationally certified home inspector, and I am a certified building analyst.
And correct me if I'm wrong, in the state of Maine, do you have to be certified?
You do not. Actually, anybody can hang a shingle out and be a home inspector.
And that's kind of scary, you think about it.
It's a little scary.
I'm going to make my one of my biggest financial purchasing decisions. So, and I got to tell you, the inspections, I've been in real estate 30 years and I've been on hundreds and hundreds of inspections, and you guys are extremely thorough on what you do. One specific house I remember, a lot of inspectors wouldn't move stuff out of the way to get into an attic scuttle hole, but you guys go above and beyond to do that.
We really do, because this is the biggest purchase of most people's lives.
Absolutely.
And in those obscure areas, whether it's the attic or whether it has a crawl space, the places that nobody wants to go, that's really where some of the biggest ticket items are, that can be very detrimental to a home.
Absolutely. And so we've talked about in the past, hey, it's been very common for a buyer to do an inspection, but we're actually seeing sellers do inspections. And I think it's a great idea. Are you seeing that happen?
We are. The trend had started a couple of years ago where a seller would start out getting radon testing or water testing just to kind of see where their home was with that regard. But now sellers are starting to have home inspections done because it helps them know if they want to do a few repairs before they put it on the market, where should I put my money? And also to avoid kind of on the back end not being surprised by what comes up in an inspection and it may have a deal fall through, so they can catch those things, take care of them, or have their realtor price it appropriately with those defects listed.
So Melissa, I know in my personal experience, when I built a house 20 some odd years ago, before I sent out my final payment to the builder, I had a home inspector come in and there was an issue with the house. It wasn't major, but there was an issue there. And I do know when I've sold a house myself, I've had an inspection done as a seller. And it certainly made the process go a lot smoother.
It does, because you're not anticipating some tragic thing happening that is going to blow up the deal.
No big surprise.
That's right, no big surprise. And regarding the new inspections, new construction inspections, it's a really good idea, because all the new constructions that we find, there is always a punch list. Many times it is just a few kind of ticky-tack items that they have, but there has been a case probably a year ago where we went through the home. They were actually going to be closing in a couple of days.
Okay.
And Dan went up into the attic and all the insulation was actually installed backwards.
Oh, no.
And the entire roof structure was all soaking wet.
Oh, wow.
Fortunately, the builder was on site. We explained the situation. They actually took everything out, dried it all out, put everything in. But if that buyer had not had an inspection, that house would have been completely covered in mold in 6 months.
Absolutely.
With as tight as they're building houses these days.
That would have been a nightmare.
It was a good thing that she got that inspection.
Absolutely. So Melissa, tell us about what are some of the top things that you see during an inspection for items that come up. What are the most common ones in Maine?
So probably the number one issue in a home that we see in every single inspection are electrical issues. So there are always things wrong in the panel. There's always outlets that don't work, or GFCI protection is not installed where it should be. Dangling wire, exposed wire splices. So there's always going to be electrical items with any home.
Okay.
Really the number one threat to a home is moisture.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you prevent moisture from the exterior getting into your home? And then how do you dispel moisture that we create just by living, cooking, taking showers? How do we get that moisture out?
Yeah.
And so really looking at the building as a system and explaining to homeowners how they can work to continue to improve their home to keep that going. And then I would say probably the third item that we see is really insulation. So looking up into the attic, Maine has a really old stock of homes, and so it is not surprising that a lot of times homes either don't have any insulation or really minimal insulation.
Newspapers.
Yes, newspapers.
What's the R value of a newspaper?
Yeah, right.
Of the Bangor Daily News.
That's right. Lots of vermiculite insulation, and so just kind of getting a new homeowner on a path to some efficiency.
So speaking of moisture, I know, and I've been on inspections with you, where we get up into an attic, and let's face it, most buyers aren't going to get into an attic. So we get up into an attic, we see that the bathroom vent is vented right into the attic, and there's your moisture issue.
That's right. Isn't that extra heat?
Yeah, extra heat, that's right. You're going to heat my house with my dryer vent or whatever, but the insulation thing, that is huge. I see that all the time. You're spot on with that. So let's talk about, this is the segment, folks, that this is going to save you some money if you own a house in Maine. So the energy audits.
Yes.
I've heard you talk about those before. I'm not all that familiar with them, so I appreciate you kind of explaining, what is an energy audit? What does that entail?
Absolutely. So an energy audit is where our team comes in and they set up a blower door, which is essentially a piece of canvas that is attached to a fan, and it depressurizes your house.
Okay.
It's not harmful. You can be in the home while it's happening, but it allows us to use our thermal camera and find out where all the gaps and cracks are in the home that need to be sealed up, that you're losing efficiency.
Okay.
And then the team will go around and they'll spend 6 man-hours sealing those up. It might be with caulking, it might be with spray foam, it might be in the attic, it might be in the basement, it might be in the interior rooms. It's probably going to be some combination. And gains typically run in the 15 to 25% range just in those few hours.
So we talked about the time frame, how long it takes to do an energy audit. What's the typical, I hate to say typical because no house in Maine is typical, but some idea on the cost to do an energy audit?
So the great thing about Maine is it has a program called Efficiency Maine that kicks in most of the costs to have the energy audit and the air sealing done. So most Mainers fall into the category where the energy audit and air sealing is $600.
Okay.
And Efficiency Maine actually pays $500 of that cost. So out of pocket for anybody to have it done is only $100. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Wow.
There are people that qualify to have the whole cost paid for.
Okay.
And that is based on the assessed value of your home, land and building, and it varies from the different counties in Maine. In Penobscot, it's $90,000.
Okay.
So if the assessed value of your home and your land is less than $90,000,
less than 90,
completely free.
completely paid for. So folks, reach out, look at your tax bill. If you don't have your tax bill, call your town office and ask them, talk to the tax assessor and just ask them what your assessed value is. But worst case scenario, you're talking $100.
$100 out of pocket. And on top of that, through the energy audit process, we do look at your insulation.
Okay.
And we can give you a quote for insulation for your attic. Efficiency Maine also has rebates for that. So 30% up to $3,000 for most Mainers. People that fall into that category where they would get the energy audit and attic and air sealing free, it's 90% up to $9,000 paid.
Wow.
Yes.
So Efficiency Maine will pay 90% if you fall in that category.
Yep.
That's phenomenal.
90% up to $9,000. So we can get them from zero to whatever they need for insulation for such a low dollar value.
That's fantastic. So people look, today we know that energy costs are going up. We know that your heating oil is going to go up. We know the electric's going up. So this is just a great program to take advantage of. So if they want to take advantage of this,
Yes.
do they reach out to you? Is that the best thing to do?
They can reach out to us right on our website, affordablehomeonline.com. They can also, anybody can go to the Efficiency Maine website. There is a list of all approved vendors. You just want to make sure that you're working with somebody that is registered as a vendor.
As a vendor.
So that they can get those discounts.
So folks, we'll put Affordable Homes contact information in the link here in the video. But thanks again for joining us, Melissa. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me.
I know you've had a long day, so I appreciate you getting here.
Thank you.
All right, take care.